Good morning. Welcome back to another day of Knicks Morning Koffee. Today we're going to talk some more about, the draft and what the Knicks may be thinking. And then we're also going to talk about our Knicks team and how it stands right now. And then if we have time, then we'll talk a little bit about some of the comments from last week. So first I want to just get in a little bit to talk. I heard a little bit the other day about LaMelo Ball. I mean, the Knicks, if to get LaMelo Ball, and then the other one that they were talking about was Obi Toppin, and to get them guys down. Now you're starting to say who they want. Again, we had this conversation a couple weeks ago. They're gonna want one of your star players. They're not just gonna take your eighth pick for their two and take one of our bum players. They're going to want one of your star players, and then they're possibly going to want a later pick. We don't need that. We got the eighth pick. It seemed like the scouts, the names that are popping up, people that are available around the eighth pick, seem like people that we might can use. So let's just roll with that. So, I wouldn't mind having LaMelo Ball, but let's don't give up the shit.
I don't want that.
I take him for his upside.
That's like a wild card. You don't know if he's going to be the better ball, how we all kind of predicted, or he's going to be actually the worst one. We don't even know. So
now, I think in his case, if you're going to take LaMelo Ball, to me, then you got to put the ball in his hand. Really, any guard we get, but we know he's a pusher. So if you get him, he's got to push and create. And he can get into the lane, next 6'7", and he can see over the top as a point guard and get other people involved. But you can't take him and just sit there and try to, make him a robot. Then we're lost because he's not that kind of shooter.
Well, I'm not worried about that part because of R.J. Barrett.
Well,
R.J. Barrett, I feel like that's his style. Remember, it was him up there with Zion, and they were just up top running the show. So I'm not worried about that with the guard we get, unless the guard don't play no type of
No, defense. But I'm not talking about the guard. I'm talking about the Knicks. Now, we got a whole new regime, so you don't want to just keep harping on the past. But, we get these players, and we don't let them do what they do. He got to get out and run. He get out and run, then you can say in a few years or so, he's up there with the other all-star guards, if he's running, because he can pass. He excellent court vision. So, for that reason, I just don't see... Okay, you have to entertain it, but I just don't see why we're going to even think about entertaining him at this point if we got to give up too much for this type of a draft. So one thing we do know, finally, we all been speculating for weeks, some people for months. But finally, we know that the Knicks did put some stuff on their website, and these volume series are about, guards. So I don't really know the order. I'm just going to go over the 5 names in volume 1. But I don't really know the order that they put these names in there because some of them, they're not point guards. And then I think it's up to about 3 or 4 right now. So you can go back and you can check on their website. But we're just going to analyze a few they put on their first one. Now, the first one they put up for their prospects is Anthony Edwards. Mm-hmm. Now we know he's not a point guard, so I don't know what the Knicks are looking at with that. But so that would be a no-brainer, to get Anthony Edwards. But just the fact that you're entertaining Anthony Edwards and it's not going to be there at 8, then what's up with that, But again, everybody would like to have him if they can. A name that a lot of these names I'm shocked to be on their first one, their first volume. Cassius Stanley out of Duke. Another 6'6" wing player, open court player, defensive kind of grinder. He's the kind of guy that could help you, but definitely they would have to be thinking about him in a later pick because to me he's not a first round pick. From what I've seen of him in the past, he's not a guy that can go that high. But you never know. And then on their thing was also Kyra Lewis. That's one of the picks I like. I think you can stay at 8 and get him. So why do anything crazy? Another one was Josh Green, 6'6", Arizona. Good shooter. They say he's one of the better shooters in the draft. Can create his own shot. Can shoot off the dribble. His problem is that he don't really penetrate. So can't blow by anybody. But guys like that, if they're great shooters, I don't know about it at that, maybe something like that at 27 or 38.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see that at number 8. But again, we have to entertain all shooters coming out of this draft, especially pure shooters. And then the last one they had on their thing was Skylar Mays, 6'4", LSU. Now, I don't know too much about him, but I went back and tried to look at some of the whole games that they had and not just mess with the highlights. And then he kind of reminded me of why bother, because he kind of reminded me of Iggy. So if you already got a guy like Iggy, why bring in another guy like that when he needs to step up and play? And then a little bit of him kind of reminded me, too, of Marcus Smart. So he has some talent, but again, we already got some guys that we need to develop. And then a couple of y'all let me know last week, because I'm still don't remember when it happened, that we don't have Trier anymore. So
I didn't. I was gonna look that up. I said,
I probably knew when it happened, but probably forgot about it. But it's just that I would have liked to have seen Trier with Johnny Bryant working with him, because this guy, his only claim to fame as far as Trier is he's ISO-zo. So that's his lane. But a guy like Johnny Bryant could probably pull out the rest of his game and turn him into a complete guard. And you letting a guy like that, get away, and he goes to the right team, somewhere down the line, we're going to regret that. Trier is a high percentage shooter, especially when he's in ISO mode. But if you're going to allow a player to go in ISO mode like they do James Harden and some of them, then you got to put the pieces around that. Like, everybody got to have a thing where they're going to go. What they're going to do when he's doing this, what they're going to do when he step back, when he crossed over. What are the other guys going to do?
And the last time we had a player that wasn't so-called the star do that was Jamal Crawford, as I can remember. That they would let ISO, and he not even the go-to guy all game long. So I thought that was fine. We don't got no go-to person. Why he couldn't just do it? Yeah. Even in this current team that we just had, why he couldn't just do it? I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, but
Instead
you know what?
Of, what's the name doing it?
I wasn't really okay with Jamal being the closer, really tell you the truth, back then, only because he was just going to step back and shoot. He had the ability to blow by people. So if the game is on the line and you got 9-10 seconds on the clock, he had the ability to get to the lane. Like, we could have won a lot of games with him penetrating, getting fouled, or making the basket or dishing it off. Everything was always a step back. Yeah, some of them he made, but the percentage for me wasn't high enough, especially since we still had Marbury. So the idea, Trier could be that type of a closer. And then it's up to the coaches in isolation, put the right things around it, put the right plays in, so he can see the other guys as they move into his vision.
You know what's crazy? As you say, right plays, going back to shooters, the main problem we have is it's not that we don't have any shooters, it's we don't even free them up to score or to shoot. Like, we can go back to Novak. He used to get on my nerves sometimes, but in his defense, we ain't run no play for him to get open.
Yeah.
We always used to say Ray Allen get 2 screens. We get half a screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it don't, like, Dotson, to me, did pretty good for having no screens. So what happened if he do get a screen?
Well, double screen, right. But we've been saying that, too, since Allen Houston. Allen Houston, definitely the best shooter we ever had. Not the best scorer, but the best shooter. And he's had to get the ball pretty much a post-up by the three-point line. And then he back you down and then he turn. But, Allen Houston was just as good a shooter as Ray Allen. But the game plan for Ray Allen was to bring him off screens and double screens and curls to get a good look. Whereas Allen Houston, we just threw the ball to him. And if he made it, he made it. If he missed it, he missed it. But that's Knicks,
So with this Knicks team, like I said, the ball's still in our court. I'm not gonna believe that we just don't have any shooters, because Elfrid Payton hit his shots. Dotson hit his shots. And then R.J. Barrett, even though his percentage was low, he hit his open shots. Randall even hit his threes. So that's 4 people right there. That's not a screen. That's just them.
Well, Randall threw it. Yeah, he threw a lot of shots.
Towards the end of the season, it's like his flowers started coming in. Nilakina, he started hitting his threes, and those are all off of not as coming off a screen. Those were all of their own willpower to get open and hit a shot. So now, what happens if we actually put in plays? These players that's hitting threes, besides J.R. Smith, everybody else is coming off screens. So, I mean, yeah, they can find more shooters, but are they going to look for shooters that going to have to come off screens or that can just shoot off will like Steph Curry?
This draft this draft has guys that can get their own shot off. You know, what somebody was telling me, Tyrell Terry, another pure shooter. You know, keep your 8th pick, take the best player available, and then at 27. Get 2 pure shooters, but I think we should go with a big man at one of those because we have Mitch, we have Wooten. You still need to shore up that front line. But there's shooters in this draft. You know, Halliburton name keep coming back.
Or go look for a stretch player, a big man stretch that can kind of take.
Well, yeah, they want to stretch floor, and that's and we're gonna talk about that too today because of the team that the Knicks have, but. What the Knicks have to consider when you talk about a guy like Iggy and Wooten and those guys, and our other guys are young, you know, Barrett and Mitchell and Knox and them. Let's develop them to win, but we just can't keep every year thinking that we're going to just pile up now these draft picks when you talk about rebuilding and developing, and then. Every year, the next player going to seem better than the one we got. So then we ain't never going to get to putting the right product on the court as they mature and get older. Then we send them away, and then they develop into what they want to develop. So we're going to do now. We're going to look at
itself. Players be let go.
Yeah. That's an all-star team. So we're going to look at the Knicks team and what we have now, minus the team option players. Because we're talking about building a team for next year that's going to contend. So let's start from who we know we have on the roster, and then who can we add in to make that team a contender.
Yeah, I don't got no cheat.
So, well, I'll tell you, we got R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, Frank, Elfrid Payton, Julius Randle, because remember his option, he had 2 years in option. Dennis Smith Jr., Damian Dotson, Kenny Wooten, Iggy, and then remember the 2-way players that they claimed off waivers was Theo Pinson and Jared Harper. So now out of those, that's not going to get it done. We know that.
12 players, right?
Well, 15. Last year was more for some reason, but I think because of it coming back. But 15, you get 15 players basically, and then you got your 2 G League players. So. And then you got the players you can send down to the G League. So it's so different now than it used to be. But as that stood right there, that's not going to get it done. We know that. So you got to figure of the 3 draft picks, right? If you keep all 3, one of them, probably number 8, is going to make the main roster. And then you got to figure at least 2 free agents. You know, maybe one with a hefty salary, and then maybe one, you know, in that 10, 20 range salary. So now where would you go with that team we got right there? Now, again, Bobby Portis, Reggie Bullock, Wayne Ellington, and Taj Gibson. Those are our team option guys. So let's, for the sake of argument, let's scrap those guys. Even though I think they're definitely going to keep Bullock and maybe Gibson because of his relationship with the coach. So who would you add? Who could we add? Because you probably got to, of course, you got to take some people off. At any position, who would you add to say, okay, with this team, we could get in the playoffs?
I'm still standing by, because it seems like they go in guard. So I'm saying let them pick.
I mean, even free agent. Even free agent. I'm talking about even free agent. You know, draft or free agent, because all 3 free agents probably not going to make the main roster. You know, unless they got rid of a lot of people. 2 of them probably going to be in the G League, unless again you can get a good pick at 27. But
now, who am I taking? You said are the free agents?
Yeah, of the free agents that are available now, a stretch 4 is the way I would go first.
Who's on the list? Who's on that list that we was looking at?
Which one?
All the free agents.
Oh, there's a lot of.
I'm saying free agents. So this is what I'm saying.
The realistic, but I mean to be realistic. Yeah, we're not thinking about the Anthony Davises and just the realistic free, like Bertans, those type of guys. Christian Woods. Is Kevin Love a free agent? No, Gallinari. Those type players. So just throw a name out there. I'll let you know if he's a free agent then or not. But what players you think? I mean, even if you don't have to be free agents like Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook. Who could make us a better team right now with the team that we got? Because we're not going to be able to get rid of all these guys.
I'm gonna say Ingram, right?
Yeah, I should have known you was going to say Ingram.
You should have knew I was going to say that. Like.
Ingram will help. Okay,
that's gonna change this right there.
All right, so he's one. So if you throw in Ingram, then you probably could slot him in.
And he's a free agent, right?
As the 3, yeah. All right, so if you slot Ingram in at the 3.
Listen, if we
who else?
Listen. If we can get Ingram for nothing, if he wants to be the man. Let him be the man. Then you got R.J. Barrett, and then you get that dude Kerry you was talking about. And you get him, you can get rid of all the other guards then. You just try to keep one. Try to keep Alpha Pay. Try to keep the veteran. Dennis Smith Jr., you're going to get somebody for him. And Randall, you could probably package them off. You're going to get something for that. Right? And then you get your shooters that you was talking about. Or somebody that slid through the cracks at the last 2 picks. We in the game. I'm not trying to hear nothing.
Oh, now, yeah, I would take Ingram.
That's a big.
I would take Ingram and Bertans. I would do that.
Because when you showed me that dude, Kira, and then Ingram, and then Barrett is like a big body. That's a big team right there. We going different now. We're not doing that little small team we used to have. That's a big team.
Yeah, but you high on Ingram, who I like too, but does he have the motor to be a number 1?
His motor go in second gear. That's fine. Somebody just put that picture together for me. Put Ingram, Barrett, put Kira on the.
No, that's some good shooting.
If you made it this far, please just put that team together for me. Kira, Ingram, put a couple shooters on there. Let me know, because I feel like that's a contender right there. Ingram will be the man. He's not going over there with nobody. He gets to start all over. There's no Lonzo Ball. He gets to start all over. He gets a fresh start.
Who Ball might be on the trading block. We hear so.
But now, what happens if that happens, right? What happens if we can get Ingram to come and then you can trade Dennis Smith Jr. because they probably just know what? We just need a guard at this point. And they take Dennis Smith Jr. and they take Randall. So what? You can go get, in the draft, just go get 2 more big men and pray that they good.
See, if you gave me, I would like that. If you gave me another one of those guys that stretch 4 to go with Ingram, like a Bertans or Christian Woods, because they don't just stand out there and shoot threes; they make it happen too. Like they mix it up. So yeah, I could.
So you don't even want to do that. It sound good.
Nah, but see, and then too, that's doable, because you got to figure with the money you got. And with the guys you would have to, the people you're going to let go, because you still got to fill out your roster. So, and then Kevin Knox can still come in and learn behind them guys for another year or 2.
Nobody. You don't.
Yeah, that's one scenario. So I could live with that, but you guys, what would you think with our current roster that we have now, and you add in draft pick. One that is going to at least make the main roster, and at least 2 free agents. They're probably going to get more depending on who they release. And then put in the comments who you think the Knicks, who can get us in the playoffs, or at least make us competitive. So we ain't gonna spend here too much time today, but at some point we got to start putting our team on the table, and then seeing who we're going to add and who we're going to subtract. Because we can keep saying who we want, all we want. But a lot of these guys are going to be on the roster next year. So that just had me thinking the other day, what are we really going to do? Who can we really bring in with a lot of these guys that we have? And yeah, it does. It protects our young core. And if we can get a young guard, Even if he don't really play right away and get some minutes, and develop, that's not a bad move. If you come in with a veteran guard, which I'm hoping that we stay away from a little bit, just because it eats up the salary cap for years to come, and then they gotta play.
That's not gonna change our situation. We need these guys that's gonna have fun together. Like looking at this Golden State game right here, Thompson, Curry, Draymond, they all kind of came together, and then they add the veteran Iguodala. That's what the Knicks need. That's what it seems like. Every team that does good.
Yeah.
Look at the Celtics. You bring in a Rondo, Garnett, Paul Pierce. A whole bunch of guys.
Well,
we have to start all over together.
Well, they still had their foundation though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we got to start all over and make something together. So Knicks got to start all over and make something together.
Yeah.
Like we seen the light in the summer league games, what these young boys can do together. So why we didn't try it?
Yeah, because they have the ball in their hand, and that's what I looked at when the Knicks put their thing up with the guards. You put up guys that have to have the ball in their hand and that's just not going to happen. So don't draft them kind of guys. Draft guys who can play off the ball and still become a value shooter.
You know what? And like I said, that's fine because if Barrett get the rebound, we know he can fly down court. If Ingram get the rebound, we know he can fly down court. If that dude Kira get the rebound, it seems like he can fly down court. So it don't matter which one of them three guards get it, we gonna be good. But Ingram not a guard, but he can play like a LeBron James kind of. That's his style. So let him.
Yeah, you just love Ingram, but it's just
I'm trying
his motor just be killing me sometimes. I mean, I like Ingram,
but his motor ain't worse than Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox ain't.
Well, yeah, but
Kevin Knox don't even got a motor
be the
in the
star
car.
of our team, but
Kevin Knox don't even got a motor in the car.
Ingram been there for a while. But I like Ingram, so I'm not trying to shade Ingram.
He might be hungry this year. He might want one. He might. I mean,
well, he did good before Zion came back from his injury, but they weren't winning. So,
listen, you get Ingram, it might be a what's the name might say, Giannis might say, you know what? I'll go over there.
Well, we'll see. But I like
that's
Ingram.
my guy too.
But I like Ingram. All right, so we're just gonna tackle a few of these questions from the comments before we get out of here. And then one was from Legion of Knicks podcast on Westbrook. Last week we talked about Westbrook for the whole show. We need to stay away from him. He's a flawed player. He's athletic, but not a reliable shooter. And yeah, you're right about that. But some people are just high on Westbrook. Brian Williams, if we trade for Westbrook, I'll put him with RJ and bring back Moot. And that's another free agent. If you want to bring back Morris as a stretch four. And I like Morris too. He need, maybe this would be a better team for him. Because we need a stretch four now. But before, he was just trying to take over the game.
Bring back Morris, that's the plus.
Yeah. Allah Wise says Westbrook is not passing to you if he don't trust you. And we need shooters. But you're right. That's one thing about the real superstars. If they don't trust you, you can forget about it. You can be open all you want. That ball is not coming your way. So I agree with you there. Andrew, I can't keep chopping his name up every week. He said management has a lot of tough decisions to make. Jared Harper is someone he'd like to see. Wouldn't mind CP or Westbrook, but rather stay with the rebuilding process. So yeah, you're right. If we get one of those guys, we'll live with it. But yeah, if we got these young cats and we could bring in a really good guard, yeah, we can stay with that and develop and still be competitive.
At least we get all the real Knicks fans.
Yeah.
We all on the same page.
May 4th. Now, this is what he says. No Westbrook, Harden, Anthony Davis, Chris Paul, Oladipo, George, or Giannis. But he also went on to say a lot of other things. That's why at some point we have to just start maybe sneaking in some lies because some of these guys, their comments and the comments go on, are really good, to have discussion about. And then we'll end it with Warren Franklin. Get Van Fleet, and at 8, get Devin Vessel, and then at 27, get Trey Jones. And Duke guys, sometimes we got RJ who I like, but a lot of times Duke players, they scare me because they never play the same way in the NBA for the most part. They're the best players in college, and then they fall off when you get to the league. All right, so that's it for today. Drop us a line, tell us what you think, and like, comment, subscribe. Peace.